Hey guys, and welcome back to the true finale of Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap. We're going to be covering the post-game in this part, and while we may be human, it's not the end of our adventures in Monsterland just yet, per se, so Volk, take it away for the last time, mate.
Alrighty, so for the post-game, there are a bunch of extra dungeons that were added to the game for the remake. And for these dungeons, you have to go through it with a specific beast form, or indeed the human, as there is a dungeon for him also. There are some quirks to this. You can't use the Tasmanian sword to change into a different beast form. You have to do it, start to finish, with the one that you're set to.
Okay.
So, no cheesing your way through these ones, I'm afraid.
Oh well.
Each of these dungeons will have their own set of challenges unique to that form.
As you'd expect, yeah.
And at the end, you get a charm stone, and those charm stones are used to unlock a specific weapon that you may have noticed was blocked off when we were going through Lion Man's portion of the game. So we're going to start off in order, so we're going to start with Lizard Man first. So, you can technically do these before you beat the game, but unless you're kitted out, you're going to be taking tons of damage and dying very quickly, because these dudes don't fuck around.
Oh, we're dealing with golden enemies now.
Yep, they added them particularly for the remake, and you will see a lot of them in the extra dungeon. So, if we can just imagine going through here without, like, the legendary armor set and things like that, you're going to get munched on quite heavily, and it's not going to be good news at all. So, for the dragon, it's a bit of a two-parter for this dungeon, so there's a bit of platforming to do, there's a bit of tank and spanking, and there's a bit of a puzzle towards the end as well.
Interesting.
And we'll get to that one in just a moment. Actually, I'll get into it now, because we're going to be segueing it into it before long. The very final part of this dungeon will feature breakable blocks, which you actually have to traverse to get to the door which will give you the charm. Now, the issue is that you have to go underneath those breakable blocks first. And since you got the thing that breaks the blocks, if you hit them with your head, you're going to break them. So you're removing the platforms that are needed to actually get you to the charm stone. So you've got to be very specific about which blocks you break, because otherwise you're going to end up in a situation where you can't actually traverse and you've got to reset the blocks. However, fortunately, I used my brain a little. You remember that magical saber we picked up?
Oh yeah.
It has a very unique property where it's the only sword that can't actually break blocks, so you can go underneath all of these things with impunity and not even have to worry about breaking them, thus saving you about 10-15 minutes of trying to break the precisely right blocks, whilst trying to make your way to the bit where you can jump onto them.
Oh, you jamming it. That's the kind of wherewithal, savviness I'd expect from you, Mr. Volkemar.
Well, I did it I had to do it the way that I thought I did a couple of times, which took way too much time and way too much frustration, if I have to admit.
Oh, man,
so I was very glad when I tried that out and actually found out that it worked, so.
Getting a bit OCD with you hitting these enemies, I'm going to be quite frank at this point, mate.
Yeah, well, this point is kind of like post-game stuff, and I know that I'm going to be okay health-wise, so, you know. I was being a little bit less careful, so to speak. Besides, I was trying to be as calm and relaxed as I can, because this next bonus dungeon... Oh boy. I do not like it. I'm just going to say
Not bad, huh?
It is, very, very tricky. And obviously I make a cut here to, show the, successful run. But you can easily see where I would have problems. So the idea behind Mouse Man's dungeon is that obviously this first part right here is that you got to deal with this onslaught of clouds and enemies coming at you every which way. And then you get to this top bit, which doesn't seem all that intimidating at first, but then you scroll the screen a little bit. And yes, this is the mother of all platforming puzzles.
Oh, Jesus.
Obviously with the Mouse Man you can stick to those blocks, but since it's only one square, it can be quite difficult to make sure you hit the mark on it. On top of that, you've also got enemies that are actually trying to take you out as well, and if you stay on one block for too long, it's going to hit you and then it will send you all the way back down again, and you've got to start all over. This is pretty damn precise, but luckily since you can stick to walls, you do get a little bit of a free pass sometimes. Like you'll maybe just miss the block, but you'll hit the side of it and then you'll stick to it. So that's just about all the leeway they give you here. The rest of it is pretty much all off your own back.
Alright, I guess we've kind of gotten the gist of Mouse Man's bonus dungeon here, so let's talk about something else they added into the remake. Wonder Girl, specifically.
Ah, yes, that was... It wasn't really something that changed the game so much, like, physically, but it was more just a thing where, well, we can give you a girl option as well for free, there's no big deal about that. And they actually went for a load of different designs for her as well, like, you can check out some of the behind-the-scenes stuff and such on YouTube, and you can actually see all the different designs they had for her initially. That was pretty much me for a good 15 minutes or so. If you tuned into the HFC livestream when I was playing through this, this goes for the audience here specifically, they will know of my rage as I took about half an hour trying to get through this particular bit.
I'm so sorry, Volk, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. Like I said, I was planning on doing this live so that you could actually see the rage as kind of like a make-up for the Simpsons hit and run.
Oh, it's fine.
There you go. I can at least channel my rage in such a way that, you know, is concise and to the point.
So, you've got Wonder Girl. Is there anything like a sound test option available in the remake?
I'm not entirely sure if there is, at least none that I've been able to see, but obviously you can change the audio to be the retro audio and adjust the volume sliders accordingly. So
oh, right, yeah.
That's one thing they give you. And they also give you an option to use the TurboGrafx sound effects, so if you're using it, if you're more familiar with the TurboGrafx and PC Engine version of this game, then obviously you can use that soundtrack as well.
Oh man, that was a precise as hell jump right there.
Yeah, like I said, that is probably one of the most frustrating and difficult ones there, but I've done it once before, so luckily it didn't take me nearly as long as it did when I was live streaming this.
Alright, we are Mermaid Man with the power to swim.
Not nearly as exciting when you think about it. Then again, I suppose you might come from the era of, like, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, where Beast Man was a thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what am I gonna do? Be a fucking superhero? Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Now, this area is very annoying. It's a very, very small space with a cloud constantly spinning fireballs at you. You can imagine getting hit a lot here.
Well, why don't you take out the cloud, Mr. Man?
Because I'm lazy.
Well, you've got no one to blame but yourself, then.
I was just thinking, okay, I can outspeed it, I can just get underneath before he actually does anything to me.
Ah, the Aaron Hansen skill.
A little bit. Sometimes attacking the fish can be a bit difficult.
Touch the fucking box!
Yeah, like I said, the physics in this game are a little bit slippy, and that does also apply to the swimming sections of the game.
Sorry, I kind of went a bit over the top there, I didn't mean to.
It's fine. I mean, with this game in particular, I do have moments of glory, but just as often I just have moments of just, what the hell am I doing?
Well, at least you're humble about it, mate. I, not so much.
You gotta give you your riffs to go off of. Now, the yellow ogres are incredibly annoying because they take a shit ton of hits, especially compared to their blue counterparts. And also, they shoot 3 boulders instead of the usual 2, so they can be very, very tricky. Especially if you don't really have much in the way of armor by the time you get to this point. I seem to recall I tried going into this dungeon as soon as I unlocked Lion Man, and this was when I didn't have the legendary armor or anything like that, so one of those yellow ogres took off half of my health from one hit.
Damn, man.
So yeah, sometimes it may not be a good idea to go into these dungeons until you're properly prepared, which is why in this case, I left it for the post-game. But if you're looking for an extra challenge, give it a try. You know, if you're more skilled than I am, you may well succeed.
Oh man, we're going retro for this one?
Well, for this case you have to, because otherwise you would never know that this secret dungeon was here. I mean, obviously you had the one with Piranha Man where it was literally like a hidden door on this 2-block platform. But with this one here, you actually need to be in the retro form because the foreground stuff actually obscures it.
Ah, okay.
But if you go into the retro mode, of course you don't have to worry about any of that, and the way to the next dungeon is clear as day. You'll see exactly what I mean in a second.
Man, this fucking aesthetic is my jam. I'm sorry if I'm a nostalgia fag, but that's just how I get down.
Oh no, I agree with you there. So yeah, those two destructible blocks down there is the way in. And if we go into the modern mode, would you have known there was anything down there?
No, not at all.
So yes, you do actually need to go into retro mode to find this one, unless you're just mindlessly swinging your sword at everything. And this is how we get to Lion Man's secret dungeon.
The unknown indeed.
I seem to recall somebody saying in one of the comments of a speedrun of this game, who was doing like all the extra stuff as well, about somebody saying you don't actually need to get all of the charm stones to actually unlock the special item. But of course, if you're a completionist, you want to do it all anyway.
Or you're, you know, Volcamo.
And just wanted to show off as much of this game as humanly possible.
Fair enough, mate, fair enough. Speaking of showing off as much as possible, or at least talking about it, did you ever peruse the Fleetway Sonic the comic back in the day?
Oh, I have a bunch of the old things still stashed away somewhere. I'm pretty sure it's in a metal crate somewhere. That's been compacted to the point where I cannot open it unless I have a crowbar.
Jeez. Anyway, you know what I'm going to bring up here, don't you?
Yes, the Wonder Boy comic series, or shorts.
Not entirely sure which one it was based on. I have, or had, a friggin' Wikipedia article here, but all I can remember from the Wonder Boy comic strip is the first one where he was like turning into a demon or something, and then there was one where he fucked about with ghost dinosaurs.
Yeah, that does sound like Wonder Boy. Although I do have to wonder, because obviously Wonder Boy in the Dragon's Trap is very different to the original Wonder Boy, where obviously this Wonder Boy has green hair, whereas the Wonder Boy originally had yellow hair that was very much reminiscent of a lemon half. So of course he picked up the hair dye and became a little bit more badass and picked up some clothes, between Wonder Boy 1 and Wonder Boy 2 especially. And there you go. The Lion Man one isn't particularly difficult, it's just that you have to be careful with that last section especially.
Oh, here we go. Wonder Boy was adapted into two stories that ran in Fleetway Sonic the comic. They were loosely based on Wonder Boy in Monster World. Wonder Boy in Demon World ran between issues 2 to 9 and saw Shion, the protagonist who has a dislike of being referred to as Wonder Boy, fighting to save some people while staving off a demon curse. Then came Wonder Boy in Ghostland, which ran between issues 22 to 27 and saw Shion travel to a world of ghostly dinosaurs. The art was fucking great.
That sounds like an original story then, just based loosely on the Wonder Boy universe.
But you gotta remember, man, like STC, before a certain point, was full of different Sega properties. Like you had, well, I don't know if Sparkster is Sega specifically, but obviously it would be based on Rocket Knight Adventures on the Mega Drive. And you
Yes,
also had,
I do remember a Sparkster comic specifically.
and you know, Streets of Rage.
Oh, that one I remember as well. That was probably one of my favourite ones, because I was a big Streets of Rage fan back in the day.
I think my favourite, like, non-Sonic strip may have been Decapitac.
I don't know if I actually had that comic, but then again, it's been so long since I looked through my collection, I may just have it and forgot about it.
Yeah, it was a staple of STC, mate, before it became Sonic only. It was a very comedic sort of strip, lots of dark humour.
Ah yes, I think I have vague recollections of it. Whether or not it was my comic that I owned, or whether it was something I read at the comic book shop or something like that, I don't know, but I do remember it vaguely.
Anyway, enough reminiscing about a comic that's long dead. Let's talk about Hawkman's special stage, in which you seem to be getting even more pinballed around than usual.
Yes, well, unfortunately, in order to unlock the door, you have to find the right enemy which has the key that drops. And that, of course, involves taking care of frogs and yellow ogres, which is a lot easier said than done for the most part, but luckily we got through there in one piece. And there we go, the Hawkman Charmstone is now ours. Which leaves only one person left, which is, of course, the human. Now, I thought this was really, really cool that they gave the human his own special dungeon as well. You could have easily just left it to the beast forms and just left it at that, but there are some things that the human can do that none of the other forms can.
Lay it on me, mate.
He can duck. That's literally it.
Okay.
And more to the point, the lizard man can duck as well, but the human can duck whilst having a shield, so that is something that will come into play towards the end. And it was actually something that was pointed out during one of my live streams. And one of the developers behind the game, Sebastian Ronza, actually came by whilst I was doing the bonus dungeons.
Oh, wow.
And we were chatting for a little bit, you know, I was asking him some questions about the game and what have you, cursing him for the Mouse Man dungeon. And he actually told me about the human dungeon and actually what the quirk is about it and how to do the last bit, which is you actually have to duck whilst facing a fireball spitter, and then you use the shield knockback to actually get you underneath this tunnel and actually get to the door.
Jeez.
It's a little bit tricky to explain, but you'll know exactly what I mean when you see it. But I was glad he came by when he did, because I'd probably be there for like half an hour wondering what the hell to do.
Yeah, I remember you telling me you were pretty hype that day.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's my first like experience with like in a live stream actually getting a developer of the game actually dropping by, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit starstruck, and I was just like, oh my god.
I think the only thing that comes close to that for me is like during Sonicathon, I think our channel got raided by Proton John, so we got a lot of viewers and donations for charity in, which was pretty great.
Ah, yes, I remember that. That was a good time.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to the Sony-thon, I don't know about you.
Oh, I am. Well, I get to play Final Fantasy VII, so, you know, I'm hyped for that as it is. But, you know, I get to play other cool shit besides, so, you know, definitely excited. Now, I was actually trying to see if I can get this ninja down the hole and just kill him that way, but, you know, he was just a little bit too slippery.
Damn those slippery ninjas.
The weird thing about Humans Dungeon is that it doesn't really look like much at first, but it follows something similar to what the final dungeon does, wherein if you take a wrong turn, it will actually reset you back to a previous screen.
Interesting.
So you actually have to try and figure out which path is the correct one. And then, of course, you get to this bit where you have to use your shield to prepare yourself underneath there, because you can't do like a running slide underneath or anything like that. You actually have to use the knockback to propel yourself inward.
Those cheeky bastards.
Yeah, they did put a lot of thought into some of these maps especially, so you may be asking, what is your reward for going through all this trouble? And the reward is actually the true strongest weapon in the game. And it is on par with the legendary sword for even the human, and is actually stronger than the legendary sword for most people bar Lion Man. And that is the Gallic Sword, which tastefully costs 2,017 coins.
Oh, that's amazing!
The nice thing about this sword as well is that it gives you a much higher chance of finding magical items when you kill things. So you get more boomerangs, fireballs, tornadoes and the like when you kill enemies with it. But to chalk things off, I think we're gonna lay down a beatdown like it's 1989. We're going to take the human 8-bit style through the final dungeon and beat the final boss.
Okay, mate. Give me your closing thoughts on the remake of Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. Does it still hold up gameplay-wise? It definitely got a new coat of paint graphics-wise, but gameplay-wise, give me the deets.
Gameplay is exactly the same as you remember it, and that's about as much as you can ask for with a remake, but the way they redid the soundtrack, the visuals, the way they fixed up some of the oddities in the game as well, it's a top-notch remake, and I am so glad that they actually went ahead and did it. It's more or less a dream-come-true remake scenario for me, because this is probably one of my favourite games of all time.
Yeah, he ain't joking either. This isn't just like a thing we're saying to appeal to fans of Wonder Boy: The Dragon's Trap. He says this shit all the time offline.
Yes, and it's more of a dream come true, honestly, that I actually got to do this with you today.
Oh, shush.
I was honestly hoping one day, whilst I was just a humble viewer, that HFC would maybe look into the Wonder Boy series one day, and, well, that happened. And even less to the point, I'm actually here helping out make it happen, so a dream come true on two fronts. A remake, and I got to do this playthrough for HFC.
Oh, what do you like, mate? You said you were getting teary during the original ending back in part 5. I think I might be having a bit of that coming on now, but I've really enjoyed my time recording this with you. Obviously, I can't speak to the gameplay. It does seem a little bit slippery for my taste. I don't know whether that's the game or Volk, but I'm not here to comment on the gameplay. The game itself looks visually fantastic. that's all I really have to say. So I guess we're going to start wrapping up here. I've been Anton64.
And I have been Volkamar.
Thank you for watching the HFC playthrough of Wonderboy the Dragon's Trap. Thank you, Volk, for recording Wonderboy the Dragon's Trap. This has been Wonderboy the Dragon's Trap. We'll see you next time for another HFC playthrough. Goodbye for now.